Hello everyone, this is Jen from Generator74, and I'm going to be doing another Christmas card today. I'm going to be using the My Mind's Eye Vintage Christmas 6x6 pad that I bought on Black Friday. And here I'm just showing you what it looks like and the papers that I picked out that I'm going to be using, as well as some black cardstock and the stamp set. It's an A2 size card, so that means it's 4¼ wide and 5½ inches tall. That's just the card size that I normally make. I do make other sizes every now and then, but usually on request or per request by someone who's purchasing it. And that's just some black soot distress ink that I'm using to distress the edges of that paper. And that's going to be my base. I like to work on the base and decorate it and have it the way I like it, and then put it on the card base itself. It just makes it easier if you're wrapping ribbon or using brads or anything that has to go through. That way it gives you a nice clean inside of the card. So inking up this little piece here, and I could have cut it off just so that it had the green jolly on there rather than part of Santa, but I liked having the red and the green on there, and that's why I left it that way. Just inking up that little piece there and working on the layout. And again, I don't measure things normally, so I'm just making them the width that I like, and then just making sure that it'll fit on the card the way that I want it to. Just keeping in mind the measurements of an A2 size card. And ink up those edges as well. It helps to tie everything in if they're all inked up with the same color, and you know. And there I'm just sort of looking, and then I realized that I think I would like if that piece was scallop punched. So I'm just showing you the scallop punch. I bought this on Black Friday as well. So I'm just punching a scallop on that little light colored piece. Sorry, I have to keep clearing my throat. I just had supper and I don't know. Perhaps it was the salad dressing. I like to line it up on my mat so that I can make sure that things are straight. It's helpful to have a mat with lines on it for sure. And that ribbon is on my ATG gun because that's the one that I bought first. I bought it online before they started selling them at craft stores, and it keeps flying open. It'll like fly open and scares me, so I just tied ribbon on it, and it makes it pretty. So this is just some of that Celebrate It ribbon I got at like Michael's. And that's what I mean, it makes it easier because if I had had this actually on the card base, I would have had to cut a slit in the side of the card to be able to get the ribbon on there, but this way I can just wrap it around this piece and not have to worry about any of that. I don't have to tie this one upside down because it's just a knot. If you saw my other video, you know what I'm talking about. When I tie a bow, I have to do it upside down. Otherwise, it just doesn't work. I don't know why. So now I'm just thinking, okay, what sentiment do I want to use? And I end up picking one that I think will fit in the space where I want it to be. And I can use the distress inks with these stamps because they're the photopolymer. Regular, like the cheaper clear stamps, do not work well with distress inks. It gets all like beaded and weird looking. But with the photopolymer, it works out well. So just ink that up so it matches everything else. And get it lined up so that it, isn't cutting off the numbers. It actually fits in between. I think it looks more visually pleasing. And then that ruler, it has holes in it, and I use it and just line it up and then punch poke a hole where I want the brads to be, and then I just make it bigger. There's a few layers to go through there, so. And I'm going to get something to sort my brads with, see if I can find. I'm looking for 3 black brads, but I seem to have some difficulties. I apparently need to buy some more black brads. My favorite color is brown, but brown doesn't always work. I use a lot of brown in paper and stuff, so they do work, but in this case I was using black with it being Christmas, and that was just the color that came, you know, in that paper pad, so it didn't have like a brown hue or, you know, color scheme to it, so finally find 3 black brads that I can use. Stick them all in there, and then I'll flip it over so that I can finish attaching them. And then I just think, okay, I think the front's done. So this cardstock, it was cut as sort of a funny size, so I just needed to trim it down to 5.5. My blade's dull, and that's why you saw me sanding that. I like to get as much use out of my blades as possible, so I don't change them, I guess, as often as I could. So if it leaves like the feathering of the paper, I just sand it down. It's not a big deal. And then moving on to the inside of the card, I'm going to use the scraps that I have left from the front. Looking for something that I can use on the inside to write my message on. And I had cut out a bunch of these a while ago when I just wasn't feeling very crafty. And it's really handy to have them around. Now, I have no idea what happened. That it must have been the paper, and I may have been trying to cut 2 at one time. That's what it looks like to me. So I have to poke out all those little pieces, which is sort of a pain, but at least you're not watching it in real time because it took quite a while. And just deciding if I want to go with that side or the other side, and I'm going to go with the side that matches the front, which is the green. And ink those up so that it matches the front. I love my ATG gun, even though it flies open. I do have a pink one as well. I just usually use them, you know. I used to have one for card making and one for scrapbooking, and I use 2 different adhesives in them. One the acid free for scrapbooking, and one the regular general purpose for card making, but honestly I just started using the general purpose because the acid free is so expensive, and unless it's actually going to be touching the photo, I don't really see a need for acid free. So that's just my opinion, and I haven't had any problems with any of my photos. And honestly, if it's a picture that I really want to keep, it's in a photo album as well. It's not just in my scrapbook. So it is what it is. You feel free to do what you want to do, but I have a hard time paying $10 for 2 things of tape. That's just ridiculous. I mean, even if you had a coupon, it's still ridiculous. And I was buying it online, but I had a hard time then trying to find anything at a good price. So, but there's the card, there's the front, and I showed you the inside. Thanks so much for watching. It's been a lot of fun doing these videos with the voiceover element, and I hope you enjoyed as well. So thanks a lot, and have a great day. Bye.